Hi there, I'm Neil Sutherland.
And I'm Rachel Williams, and we are the programme team for the Business and Management programme at UE. And it's a very large programme. There's over 1,000 students. So a question that we're constantly asking ourselves is, how do we create a sense of community on a large programme like this?
Yeah, and in the last couple of years, we've been using social media a lot, specifically Facebook groups, to join up the students' learning experience and make staff and students feel more connected instead of just being on this loosely connected string of modules. So we've got a Facebook group for every year. And obviously, it's been particularly important in the 2020 and 21 academic year.
So overall, what we're trying to do is increase social presence. So this comes from informal, human, personalized communication and can have a really big impact on things like interaction, persistence, resilience, satisfaction, learning and motivation.
So here are some of our key reflections and key questions. So we aim to be a big program with a small program feel, and the Facebook pages function as a way of creating a sense of us. And we've got a variety of materials that help us to do this, that include weekly rundowns, top tips videos, interviews with module leaders about upcoming assignments. We've got a podcast about wellbeing called The Red Print that you can listen to on Apple Podcasts. We've got polls and surveys, bonus workshops, motivational talks, and creating virtual spaces for students to collaborate.
Overall, we're aiming to promote what Rourke et al. Note is the ability of learners to project themselves socially and emotionally into a community. And in 2020, we got an NSS overall satisfaction score of 97%. We also got a lot of qualitative comments referring to our social media page. So that was great. And we've also had some results as well from a local survey that we've done of the students. What was interesting about this is that students didn't feel they had to actively participate in the community in order to feel part of it. And at first we were actually worried about this, we were worried about dominating the spaces. But as time went on, we actually found out that students preferred content where they didn't have to actively engage. And this felt uncomfortable at first, but then I reflected on my own membership of Facebook groups. And I realized that I'm actually a bit of a lurker and I don't post, but I still feel really embedded in these communities that I'm a part of online.
Yeah, and it's been a key lesson for us over the last couple of years that while the literature tells us how important active engagement and co-produced spaces are for increasing social presence, actually we found that it was okay for our community to be more formally led by us and with students being able to dip in and out of their pleasing. But for this to be effective, our leadership had to be intimate and had to feel authentic. So this brings us on to our final reflection about the style of delivery. And we read a lot about the importance of intimacy on social media and how that can actually increase engagement and how it can increase the feeling of social presence, because it makes posters and the people creating content feel like they're more human and more relatable. And this is something that as tutors within higher education, that's what we want to encourage, and that's what we want to see, and that's what we want to do. So for us, the posts that you saw earlier really do rely on informality, on humor, on playfulness, on self-disclosure, and positivity and optimism.
As the years have gone on, we've both accepted that we're not just communicating in a two-dimensional, overly academic way that can increase power distance, but instead we're being more authentic and we're allowing students to see our full selves through open and honest communication that shows off a personal side. And if we can connect on this level, relationships can be more fully formed, which is great for the students.
So we've reflected then some of the opportunities and potentialities of using social media in higher education to create learning communities on programs. And specifically, we've been thinking about our very large program. And we've reflected on the kinds of content that might work, the ways in which interaction and engagement might happen, and also the role of the community leadership.
So some questions do still remain. So these might be, how can student participation be encouraged in online settings? What is the role of the tutor in these new spaces? And what are some of the tensions and difficulties that we might experience in social media environments?
It has been lovely to see you. Thank you so much for being here, and we look forward to carrying on these conversations.
Thanks.
See you.
Bye.